Hi, my dear students of ESM 291 Map Analysis. You are welcome on board. We want to begin our lectures on map analysis. Please stay tuned. Join me as we go through some of the introductory slides. I am Joseph Omada, your facilitator. Yes, you are welcome. Map analysis is a course that is aimed to provide an in-depth understanding of what a map is, how to analyze it, and to interpret maps. The objectives of this next set of lectures we'll be having will be understanding the meaning, the types, the characteristics of maps. Now, how to identify the general components or elements that make up a typical map, and how to also identify some of the uses or functions of maps. What is a map? A map is a representation usually on a plane surface of part of the earth or some other body showing a group of features. It's usually drawn on a plain paper, a plain sheet, a plain a landscape or an area of a country in 3D. So maps are usually in 2D, and there is a picture or a representation of the Earth's surface. A map is a graphic representation or a scale model of spatial concepts. It is a means for conveying geographic information. Maps are a universal medium of communication, easily understood and appreciated by people regardless of language or culture. It shows so many things: by distance, by direction, and by size. We should be able to look at where we are, recognize where you are. If you are in Abuja, say where you are in Abuja and know where you want to go, maybe another part of Abuja. Take a direction to that part. You can even measure a distance and try to understand the size of what you are about to undertake. So maps are a form of symbolization governed by a set of conventions that aim to communicate a sense of place. Even modern maps are very important. They represent a particular place at a particular point in time. As I said, if you want to study a map or to begin to take an orientation, you must know where you are and begin to say, where am I? And then draw a direction, know of a distance, and you can therefore take the size of where you want to be. A map is basically a drawing. It represents geographic features. Some are invisible. You can have temperature map, pressure map, wind map. And if you go, you may not be able to see temperature, pressure, but these are measured by instruments. And the wind, you see where the wind is blowing and so on. Some of the geographic features are actually visible, like houses, hills, rivers, valleys. Maps are usually drawn to scale. They are usually reduced to a version of reality. When you see a big area on a map, and the map is a small sheet, you begin to wonder what is happening. But you have to convert the scale to reality to know how big it is. Maps portray so many things. Like I have said before, the location and extent of a feature is portrayed. In other words, you can know where that feature is. The attributes of the feature are also portrayed. This is talking about what the feature is. Then the relationship of a feature to other features is implied from the location and attributes of all the other features. In other words, we can answer the question of how and why a feature is where it is and discuss further. Maps have evolved over time from being produced on a leather, a stone, a wood. Maps are now produced on computers using software such as the Geographical Information System or GIS. So there are many things we can do and understand from a map. What are the characteristics of maps? Maps are symbolized, they are projected, they are represented to scale, they are usually drawn in 2 dimensions but can also be of 3 dimensions depending on whether you are using a paper or a computer. On computers you can have a 3D drawing of features, but on papers this will be reduced to 2D. Maps present the reality of features, actual size, you can actually say from maps. Maps are generalized representation. It's a form of communication. The only problem is that usually they are static. Usually maps are static. So what are the components of a map? When you have a map, it must have a title, it must have an orientation,